Morgan, Tyrese Haliburton talked about the Kings in an interview over the weekend, and it was interesting. Some of the response from people was like, "Can Tyrese just get over it?" Before we get your thoughts on him talking about the Kings, how about what he had to say?
Okay.
In an interview with Basketball News' Alex Kennedy, Tyrese Haliburton said he now sees the resentment he held on toward the Kings organization after they traded him as immature, though he's still using the situation as fuel to make the most of his new opportunity with the Pacers. He says, "I'm not going to lie, for a while, it was just complete resentment towards honestly everybody in the organization, if I'm being quite frank, even people who had nothing to do with the trade. For example, Morgan Reagan, it was a stupid effing..."
None of that was said.
You know what? Do you think, I bet you didn't like us.
100
I bet you said screw Deuce and Mo.
I mean, sure, but like I would feel
We gave him a Deuce and Mo podcast shirt. We had it delivered to him
Sweatshirt.
before the trade.
Mm-hmm. Before the trade.
Yeah, he burned it.
Definitely burned it.
Anyway,
good for him.
he says it was just resentment towards the organization as a whole, and it was so immature of me. It's funny. The other day I was just writing down regrets I have in life, unfulfilled expectations and resentments, and the only resentment I could come up with in my life right now is the Sacramento Kings. And it's like, I don't want to hold on that. It's so easy now to look at it that way, but it's a complete blessing for me to be in the situation I'm in, to have the ability to showcase what I can do and play my natural position.
Ooh. Well, it's true, and I can go on to that after you read the rest.
Yeah. He says, "I think for the rest of my career, that trait is in my head, right? I think the great ones take the little things, the negative things, and run with them. It's funny, when I do things well, people are always like, look at what the Kings did." I love that stuff. That's what I love. My whole life, I just love proving people wrong. Everything I do, I just want to be like, look at what the Kings did. I use every little thing as fuel to the fire, to be honest. Like everything. Like a dude who tweeted something and tagged me in the tweet, and he has 3 followers, I use that. Like every single thing. That's just naturally who I am as a competitor. If somebody has something to say or somebody feels a certain type of way, I use those things. I use how people have viewed me. I think it's just the competitor in me and the competitive spirit that I have. That's Tyrese Haliburton. Your thoughts on what he had to say?
Absolutely amazing. If I could have grown like that at 22 years old and been able to reflect as a 22-year-old like that in that quickly, I would have been a better person, a better young basketball player at the time. So many different things I could have accomplished and overcome if I had that mature mentality. And what I love is that he's reflecting so honestly, so bluntly about it. I don't like anyone that was even connected. I don't blame him. I could say we've been there, or we felt that in some ways throughout this career.
Yeah.
And it's like when he still wants to take certain things in that tweet from a guy with 3 followers or whatever and feel motivation from that, good for him. As long as you're channeling that energy in the right direction, that is the key to life. Like use it as your motivation. I love it so much. If
the guy with 3 followers or the trade a year later brings you down, that's where it's negative.
Yep.
Right? But if you're using it for motivation to fuel yourself, hell yes. And you should. I'm sorry. I think you have to break it down like this too. I think what Tyrese Haliburton learned is that it's truly a business.
Yeah.
And I think all players say, well, it's a business. It's easy to say that, but then you have to go through it and think about his timeline. Like he was drafted by this team. He was told he was going to be like a big, important part of it. He not only was he like an important, he was literally playing a lot of minutes. He's playing well, and out of the blue he gets traded. That's a shock, and I'm sure there's some resentment because of that. No doubt about it. He learned it was a business, and a year in, even if everyone's saying these good things and you feel like you're the future, it could change fast. And now he's in a situation in Indiana where they seemingly think he's the face of the franchise, and they believe in him and they have the trust in him. Good for him. Like I have the same feelings toward things in my life that have happened that impact me, and I've tried to let it impact me in a positive way.
Absolutely. And I just want to hit on this because I think that this is hilarious because this is people's perspective of it, and you're allowed to have your opinion, but some of you, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Ooh. For example, like Sass, Hallie only been here 1.5 years and he thinks he's Boogie Cousins of Sac. No. So it's when any business, organization, anything verbally commits and says certain things to you, and you're new to this business, you're going to believe. You're going to have the benefit of the doubt. You haven't had the experience of being screwed over by an NBA team yet. So now when he went to Indiana and he was being told, you're going to be our next.
I want to push back on one thing.
What?
It wasn't screwed over. He got traded.
Yes, not screwed over. I'm sorry. Even when you're told that you're going to be the next big thing, blah, blah, whatever here, it's the business of the NBA. If you get traded, right? Like, people could be lying to you, things can change, whatever. So when he got to Indiana, he's probably being told the same exact things, but what he's going to do differently is only take it with a grain of salt and is going to appreciate the words, but is also going to be mature enough to understand what that really means to a basketball organization, to a business, right?
I also think the other angle on this is it's not as if Tyrese is going up to every basketball reporter and saying, hey, ask me about Sacramento so I could tell you about it. Like, it's not like he's going to Twitter every day and talking anything about his experience. He was interviewed and he was asked, and reporters keep asking about this. In this day and age, it's weird because we kind of get on guys when they do press conferences and they don't say anything. Mm-hmm. And then we get upset when they actually express their feelings. Yep. And it's like, look, you don't have to agree with what he says, but just understand his perspective a little bit. I completely get it. And look, if you're a competitor, and I think the elite competitors have different things that make them tick.
It's
right?
scary.
The guy I'm wearing on my shirt right now, MJ.
Yes.
The guy was a lunatic.
Yeah.
Right? Isaiah Thomas still remembers the fact that he was the last pick in the draft, or the teams that got rid of him or traded him. And when he plays those teams, he wants to go and get them. And I think Tyrese, he's gotten to a point where he's accepted it, but he still wants to do it.